Okay guys, so in between Christmas and New Year, we travelled to Ayrshire?
Yeah, South Ayrshire.
Yep, to visit Fraser Shennan. Now, I think we've been wanting to visit Fraser Shennan for a while because he has obviously done so much. So he's only young, but he's already won the Supreme Championship. He's been in the team loads of times. He's been in Supreme finals loads of times. He's won the nursery final twice, and he's just one of those consistent handlers who always performs well. And I think it's amazing as well because he doesn't go to many trials, but see, when he does, he usually knocks it out of the park.
Fantastic, like what a treat to go and meet these Supreme champions, like people at the very top of their game, and get a chance to pick their brain about like how they did it, like how did they train the dogs at that level, what's it like to compete and have success at the very top level.
That's cool.
It'd be good if we got there to the flat.
Aye, should we go and we'll walk up there, and we can catch you there, and then we can see, because it'd be nice to see an outrun like there.
Oh, I'll get the turn back.
Aye, that'll be good.
For Belle, and then maybe just a normal outrun for Fred.
Aye.
I actually had to, it was a nightmare with Fred because this is the time of year where I would put like a turn back on my dogs. But with
He
Fred,
was still in nurseries.
yeah. So I had them going really good, so I wasn't wanting to knock him for the nurseries. So I had them going good, and then I was like, lambing time, so you weren't really messing about with turn backs then. So went to the open season, so I wanted to get him going good for the open season again. So he was going nice. I said, I'll see what happens at National. The next thing I'm in the team, and was it like a 10-day turnaround to the international?
So tight.
So I had to get into a crash course for him, which isn't good, isn't it? So that's how I ended up.
He stood up to it well though.
Yeah, I never had him in a whistle though. So that's how I had to go to voice. I just go Luke instead of the.
Oh, they know what that whistle is. He's a good spotter mind, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm good at spotting them.
Belle's not bothered. She's like, I know where they are, but Fred's like really focused. So that's traditionally when you put your turn back on, is like, so you wait until they're sort of full nursery trained, and then.
Yeah, well, I'll have them. I can still bend them, so I can stop and bend them.
Do you go through a process to bend them? Like, do you have like something set out? You're like, right, I'm going to teach this dog to bend, or does it just happen at work?
Nah, it happened quite naturally because I say when I set them up, I say look. So they'll be looking all the time, scanning, and then I'll send them. But if I can stop, like the main thing is if I can stop them in the outrun, so I'll stop them, and then I'll shout. And then if they're too tight, then I'll go stop them, and I'll say look. And that'll make them look again and think, and then it'll bend, and I'll give them their flank.
Do you find, like, what I find is on the turn back, my dogs will run much tighter on a turn back than they will normally? Yeah. Do you find that, or is it just me? No, it is a thing, is it?
So with Belle I'd end up putting her out, and I keep back on her. So that was a good thing for the turn back, because she would take the turn back tight, I would stop her. So say I was turning her back that way and she was going too tight, I'd just stop her there and I'd say out, and she'd go like that.
She'd bend a bit, aye.
And then the same on the other side.
And they're natural enough to teach them to bend out, or is that something you put in them at pup stage where you're like...
I can't remember when I done it with Belle. Belle was broken quite. I'd working it. She was starting to work at 4 months. I think I've got a video of her.
Aye.
And by 7 months, she was broken.
Aye.
Like whistles.
Just real natural.
Voice, whistle, outruns. Like I was running her to nurseries and then got to final at 10 months.
Aye.
She was quick, so I was putting, but she was tight. So I took her to a fence and then just started making her give a wee bit. But when I made her give a wee bit more width on her flanks at the fence, I'd say out instead of away.
Okay, yeah.
And that's how I go out and keep back onto her.
Ah,
just at the fence. So I've got like way and come by, and that'll be a wee bit tighter. And then if I want, I'll go out, and then I'll change my tone of voice as well. So if I'm just saying out, not getting, I'll go out, and then I'll get it.
Aye, she knows that means give a wee bit more.
Yeah.
She's some dog.
Pull in on them, or?
Yeah, I can do different things, but the whistle either, or if it goes to give a wide flank in the right, say if it was right wide, I'd go, and then I'll go, which is just come by, and then
It's like the opposite flank.
Aye, but it's quick.
Aye.
And it pulls and then goes again, then I'll do it again, pull, and then go again.
Will you just practice here? Like, can you do that sort of training here, or have you got specific fields you train in, or what?
Nah, I do most of it here.
Yeah.
I get my most of it done here really, and then I work as well, and then I go to different fields, but this is the best one.
This is an awesome field.
Yeah.
So jealous.
And then you bring them into when you get in through the wet bit, like we'll see when they're up there, it's flat, so the sheep just hang about. So I used to start training them in here as well.
Really?
Aye, but no, you wouldn't be up in the hills, you'd be in this flat bit.
Aye,
the sheep
okay.
would just stand for you. And then that's how I get my outruns as well, because see, once you got up there and you start putting them on the bray, and then you just challenge them, and then sometimes they'd run straight and sometimes they'd cross, but I would run up and then kind of try and make them bend out, and then sometimes the bray would just make them
Would you
do
run up yourself or do you use the quad?
Nah, run.
But do you run?
Aye.
Oh, that must be pure lazy.
I'm not using the quad, because then they can hear the quad coming.
They can, aye.
So I always think if one's not stopping either, I'll run away up. I'll put a puff by the time I get there, and then...
I bet. It's like...
But see the shock they get when you're there.
Aye.
Oh, and then next thing they're lie down like that, and I don't even have to send to them. They just get a fright.
They just see
Aye,
some heads
they're just
go down a
taking,
wee bit.
they're just messing about with you when they're at distance and they're not stopping.
I tell you what's nice about big fields as well. There's not the draws. Like on little fields, sheep are always, you know, when they're under pressure, they'll head to a fence or a gateway or something. So they're always kind of running. Whereas I think sometimes in the bigger fields, they're not flying about as much, so you can actually do a bit with them.
Depends what the sheep are like as well.
Well, yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know what these sheep will be like today. They'll either
Well,
be fine or they'll be running like hell.
we can walk. So the best way, just if we walk up there onto that bit, and then we'll see.
I'll meet you up. Belle, yeah. Lie down, Belle. Lie down. Out. Stand here. Stand here. Stand here. Stand here. Out. Stand here now. Stand here. Belle, stand. Stand. Stand.
Where or who did you learn your methods of training from? Did you have one particular way that you decided, oh, I like that handler, I'm going to kind of try to be like them, or do you think you've just developed your own methods?
Nah, but a bit like, well, I'd surrounded with a lot of good people. So my papa, so like when I was still at school, Papa would wait for me coming home from school, and I would go out with the dogs. Every time I'd be sitting there ready for me coming home from school, and we'd go straight out with the dogs.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's really nice. That's good motivation as well, because
Yeah.
it can be a kind of, it can be a lonely hobby sometimes if you're just, just you and your dog going out in the fields. It's nice to have someone who's kind of invested in you. And so your training method, like what sort of age do you start your young dogs at?
As soon as possible.
Soon as?
Yeah. If they're working and they're keen, I'll try and just kind of work away with them, but no force it, like.
Yeah. So, like, you rear your puppies, do you tend to take one pup on, or do you take on a group of pups? What's your kind of early learning stages?
Well, what do you mean, take one at a time, you mean?
Like, when you rear pups, will you just, I know some people like to rear, say, 2 or 3 pups together and raise them together, or some people like to very much keep them individual. Some people have them in the house, some people have them outside. What's your kind of, say you had a pup now, what would be your blueprint for raising it?
Well, I think it's like if the more time you spend on them, the better, really. But they'll not be inside. But if they're out the same litter, they'll all be split up.
Yeah. So you don't keep them running together.
No, and I'll take them out separately as well. So it's quite, what would you say, individual, like one-on-one. That's it.
Yeah. And when you first take a pup to sheep, is there anything you really like to see right from the get-go?
Just keen, I think, and a good speed about them. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It doesn't bother me if they're, like, I expect them to be bouncing through them, like, they'll just go straight through them or whatever and split them up. That doesn't bother me. And once they kind of settle down and then find their way, and they've got a wee bit of kind of something natural about them, you can just tell.
Yeah. And do you think you can tell?
Yeah.
Yeah, right from the get-go.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And is there anything you hate to see? Is there anything where you're just like, ugh?
I think it's just the one gutting thing is like no interested.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they're interested at all, if they're working at all, I'll make something of them.
Yeah.
But you can't make them work.
Yeah.
That's just, I don't think, I've never found a way to. It's like, you just can't, if they're not interested, I don't think you can make them be interested.
No, I don't think
Can't
so.
really-
It's just in them, isn't it?
You can't really force it on them, because it'll just make it worse, I think. You have to kind of have a wee bit of something.
And then, so that you're really good at getting them trained really early. I think like you said with Belle, she was competing when she was what, 10 months old?
7 probably.
7 months old.
Yeah, for the nurseries. Yeah, she was at the nursery final at 10 months.
That's amazing. So what's your process with, say, Belle? Like, how did her training progress? So you just took her out, saw she was keen, and then you just took her through. Do you teach outrunning first of all, or do you have a method?
Well, it was pretty relaxed really with her to begin with, so it was just took her out and she was kind of sucking around about them. So everywhere she was going, I was kind of just moving myself and waving me in and coming by, and so it's all just a hand. And then if she's picking it up quick, and then have to have a stop. I like to get a stop on them.
And do you get a stop at sheep or away from sheep?
Both.
Both.
I was trying to make her lie down, and like if I was out just in the stead there and the farm, I would make them lie down and then stay there. And I'd have to stay to tell them to move.
And
And then let them settle and then take them to sheep. And then obviously it's going to be different to sheep because they're all,
keyed up.
yeah, so
Yeah.
they're not going to be listening to the same. But see if you got that stay as well, if you get them lying down at sheep eventually, then
Yeah.
tell them to stay.
Yeah.
And then don't let them move till you ask them to move again. And then it puts a stop on them quite quick.
And do you get things perfected on the outrun before you move on to things like driving and shedding?
I don't like driving before they're out running a bit.
Aye.
So starting to give them room in the outrun and I've got them running out. Then I'll put them onto the drive. I think if you try driving before they're out running, you'll always have a tight outrun on them. You'll struggle to get that width. Because you're making them, you've got them the wrong bit at the wrong time.
That's interesting, yeah. It's funny, people have loads of different opinions on that, but I know a lot of people are like, no, you must get the outrun absolutely spot on before you start driving.
I don't know if it has to be spot on, but as long as they're giving them room and then understand what you're meaning, then you can move on to the driving. And eventually the width will come with age as well, just with that breeding, if it's,
So if you're training, if you go out for everyday training, how long would your session be if you are just taking a dog out to train it?
a young one.
Yeah.
A young one and just in training?
Yeah.
10 minutes is enough.
10 minutes is plenty. And then say if you were getting ready for a national or an international, what sort of length of time, what would you be focusing on?
I'll just drill them really. So, like what we've done there in the video there, maybe not a look back, but I would set them up, just do an outrun, their fetch, and then try and get them to find their pace and time, and make sure they're stopping right, flanking. I just put them through their paces, probably every night.
Yep.
Shedding as well. The only thing I don't really do is ever set up a pen on that.
No.
So you can do that at a fence.
And to get them turning off.
Yeah.
And with your flanks and getting them right, I know we talked about it a little bit in the field there. Is it just you put pressure on them by harsh words and turning them out? Do you ever use aids like a blue pipe or anything, or are you just using your voice?
No, just the voice. And then if I don't think I'm getting the width on them at distance, I will go to them. I'll probably go to them and meet them, and then just use my body language to make them bend.
Yeah. Do you think, because it's something I struggle with, and I think it's because I have not as much natural authority, whereas I think you have quite a lot. Like when I could really see when you spoke to your dog, they really turn out. Whereas sometimes I swear my dogs just go whatever. So I think your method of running is really interesting because you're touching base with your dog all the time. So you're kind of in contact with your dog all the time. I know me and you talked about it. Your method's different to a lot of people's. Like, did you always run that way, or is it something you've kind of adapted over the years?
I think if I'm running the sheep fast, you mean like always moving?
Like, because you're telling you're using the sort of, well, I don't know if it is their command or a steady or a time command. It's like
I to lie down.
So you don't use one whistle for a stop, do you? Is it?
No, it's different. So at the far end, I'd like to see them stop, maybe a double blow, and then once they're moving, it's just lying them down. But it sounds like a lie down whistle, but it's really just a break. And then I'll be a different whistle again. It'll be like a louder, sharper whistle if I want them stopped.
Okay.
And then if I'm not doing that, then I have to shout. So Fred wasn't doing great there, but like if they're in work mode. But once they're going good and I've got them going, it's just all it's breaking really.
Yeah.
I like to see them moving. A flow and run to keep the run flowing.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely characteristic of all your runs, isn't it? Is that lovely flow that the dog's with them. And I could definitely see like Belle, the sheep really liked her and she could get really with them, which was really nice.
Key back. Stand. Out. Stand. Out. Stand. This. Stand here. Stand.
So when you came off after that run at the Supreme, how did you feel? You knew you'd had a good run.
I felt we could have, like, do you ever like visualise your run, like how you wanted to go,
Yeah.
and it didn't go the way I wanted it to go? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, you all looked at it. I'd have to look back. I had to look back at the video to realise like what kind of run it was.
Aye.
Like we were talking about down there in the trial field, how I done it so easy with Belle in the swing.
Yes, yeah.
That's how I imagined it was going to go. It didn't go like that, and then there's kind of bits and pieces round about the course. She worked well at hand though.
Yeah.
But I knew like Dowie had a good run, so I never get too far ahead of myself. I always look at my worst points of my runs.
You're your own worst critic, I think, sometimes when you look at the runs and you're like, right, well, there was a hole there and a hole there. But equally, sometimes you can come off a course like that and you can get quite buoyed up by the enthusiasm of the people around you a bit as well, because sometimes they can big it up and be like, oh, you're... And it's hard sometimes not to get taken in by that sometimes, because there's only those 4 judges can really... And you don't know what they're looking at or what their opinion is. But you came out on top and it was brilliant. And I think it's been a real success story for Belle as well, because like you said before, when she was, how old would she be when you had her eye tested?
What do you mean, like
when they discovered that there was something not right in that eye? Because you didn't know.
No, her eyes were fine.
She was good, wasn't she?
Yeah. I think it was about 2 or 2.5. It was during lambing time. And I was like, her eye was shut. So it was like something was just in her eye. So I didn't think I was in to panic about it, but I took her to the vets. And that's what they thought to start off with, there was just something in her eye. So I tried to get her something to flush it out. And I was like, and I gave it 2 or 3 days, and it was like, no better. Took it back and then took it to like
the specialist.
Yeah. And they come out with it was a trauma or something in the back, and it had to be removed. And I was like, oof. And that was like a surprise. Like, kind of got him.
Yeah. But she's managed really well. Well, obviously she's won the Supreme.
Yeah.
I looked back actually, because I was like, I wonder how, if she's the first dog with one eye to win the Supreme. But actually, there was, I think, was it JJ Templeton had a dog that won it twice that had lost the use of one eye.
Right.
So it's maybe where we're going wrong. All our dogs are going.
I think to run our best was to not think about it. Though.
Yeah.
No.
She's a super bitch, and I think it's really nice that the backbreeding in Belle, like you bred Belle, or she was bred here, and I think it's really nice to see that lineage all the way through. With your own bloodline, when you're looking for like a stud dog or something to introduce, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a successful trial dog? Are you looking for what is it that you look to use? I know Spot was by Aladone's cap. What did you see in him that you liked?
I thought he was quite a consistent dog, a forward-moving dog.
Yeah.
And I like the outruns to be right.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot in the breeding as well. If they're tight and outruns tight at the top, that'll breed through. I stop and short all the time. Dogs can get it wrong, but if they're consistently getting it wrong all the time, that'll breed through. Doesn't matter how classy they are after that.
Do you think you can fix a dog that stops short?
You can help it.
Yeah.
You can help it with time, I think, but I don't know if it's no easy. You have to be. The way I would do it is if you know it's going to stop short, I would be whistling, give it that flank whistle before it stopped,
Before it got there.
and overdo it at the top of the field.
Yeah.
Make it go too far.
Yeah. It's a really hard one to fix. It's easier to fix something like a dog that grips, I think, than a dog that stops short. And quite often you don't really work out that your dog stops short until they're so far into their training, or even trialing. It's normally on a trial field where they see stationary sheep at the top, and you're like,
Yeah, so like how much of the room at the top can you put into a dog, or how much can you shape the flanks?
I think that's tougher. Like, see, was one helping up tight at the top. That's harder to do something about in your stopping shot.
Do you think?
That's a nightmare.
How do you put room in them at the top? Do you just do you
Well,
hope that they're going to be natural enough, or are you willing to fix it?
I'll have a go. I've got that Joe dog there. He was really tight, and I've got him starting to give him room, but it's brutal for me. Like, it's brutal for him as well, because I'm having to stop him and then try and make him bend, like when he's nearly at the sheep. So
And then the sheep move,
uh,
and then the dog's like, "Now you've made me give out."
yeah.
And now the sheep have moved, so they give room there, and then they drop back in, and you're like,
It's amazing how it's helping him, especially on the left hand side. It's starting to give him just a nice room in there.
all your dogs work cattle and sheep.
No, I think they would, but I kind of stopped it because there's too much, like, if they got hurt.
Yeah.
And Fred would love to do it, and Belle would love to do it, but Belle's nearly too brave with him. She nearly worked on like sheep and not get out of the way with the head.
She just wants to get right
And
stuck
she'd
in.
be keen, she'd think she'd get the better of it, but it doesn't work that way with cattle.
No,
Whereas me, I knew how to, she could get in and out and then turn them and then heal them, and she loved it.
And have you ever had any like accidents with the cattle and the dogs, or
No.
But I do think the cattle does make them better at being brave, I think.
But Mia was brilliant at it because I could put her off confidently with any cattle and be sure she would come out and never be hurt. She just had a knack for it.
And do you do anything specific for like the national, international, for fitness or nutrition, or like do you change anything?
No, that's it. I try and keep it the same. I say change isn't good. Changing their meat. So if they're into that and they're fit, it's usually good. Take them runs on the bike and then that down there, like what I showed you, that's the big drive I do every night.
Right.
So it's just like when I go to everybody goes to like and you think it's a big drive at national or international, it looks
Just normal.
or we.
Yeah, it's a big question. What do you think is the secret to your success then? Do you think it's hard work, determination, consistency, natural talent?
Nah, I think it's who I was surrounded with, maybe to start off with.
Yeah.
So the guidance I got, and then I just put my time into it as well.
You're very good at reading sheep though as well. I think that's something you can really see when you're running. You seem to be able to predict what they're going to do, and the dog's always in the right place where it needs to be, which is really nice.
Time. Move. Time. Get back. Stand. Get back. Stand. 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 Out. Stand. Stand here. Out. Stand. Out. Stand. Stand. Belle, stand. Out. Stand here. Get up. Stand. Stand. Out. Stand here. Out. Stand here. Out. Stand. Stand. Get up. Stand. Out. Stand. Belle, stand. Get up. Stand. Out. Stand. Get back. Stand. Belle, stand. 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 Out. Stand. Stand. Out. 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 Stand. Stand. Get back. Stand. Get back. Stand here. Get back. Get back. Stand here. Get up. Get up. Stand. Stand. Get back. Stand. Get back. Stand. Stand. Let's come in. Here. Keep. Stand. Stand here. Stand here. Stand here. Stand here. Get back. Get back. Lie down. Lie down, Belle. Lie down. Lie down. Lie down. Lie down. Lie down. Out. Stand here. Come by. Lie down. Get back. Stand. Stand here. Stand. Out. Stand here. Stand. Out. Stand here. Let's. Lie down, Belle. Belle, let's come in. Let's. Stand here. Keep. Stand. Stand here. You know. Stand here. Stand. Stand here. Stand here. Get back. Get back. Stand here. Lie down. Lay down, spot on the beak, spot on the beak. Lay down here. Yeah, she's getting better there. She took that look back good, didn't she?
Blooming out.
That's like the dream set is at the international if you can get just on the swallowtail, isn't it? On the swing.
Can only imagine.
How do you like what's your preferred turn back? Is it the swallowtail, like where you just swing them round and then
That's what I tried to do when I won the Supreme and she never took it. I was gutted. Again, I come off that Supreme and I was like, I wanted that to happen because I can't she can do it like that.
but you still knew you'd had a good run, you were like
That was annoying as it was. Because I can't, so that's like she does it like how many times, just like away and just forgets about them. That's like your dream look back, like that dog as well. She just forgets about the first packet and goes.
Yeah. And do you train her with the swallowtail in mind when you went to start turning, or is there some dogs that just suit having a swallowtail?
Some of them do it, and then some of them kind of flick back in. So like Fred will sometimes go in the swallow, and then sometimes he just kind of flicks back in, kind of turn back in and then goes. Do you know what I mean?
Start that initially with getting them to stop first and then turn back, and then do you develop into a swallowtail, or do you always
But it'll happen quite quick. So I'll go stop, and then I'll go look quickly, and then they should just kind of go. So you'll let it flick back in, so you'll let the look out, and then if they start to go, and then I'll give them like the come by if it's got on that side. Because sometimes they'll look and then they'll try and come round like that. Come back in themselves.
Yeah.
So I always think if I go look and then let them go a wee bit, and they're kind of half pace at that point, so I wonder what's happening.
Yeah.
And I'll give them like the come by, and then I hope. That's a good feel for it.
It just kind of, she just drew out so naturally and just so lovely.
So it does it.
It's really nice to see her. Really, really good.
How about that building in the pace? Because like, are you just reminding her when you feel like she's lifting her pace to like?
I'm saying time all the time. Yeah, because that's probably our biggest fault. It's like she struggles to find the pace that I'm looking for. She's always like,
Yeah.
speeding up.
But
I'm like time.
What I like about the way you handle your dogs is you're always in contact with them, and you're always kind of like, tapping the brakes a bit, or moving them that way. And I think it's really the way you manage your sheep. You're very intuitive with your sheep, and you're right in the right place all the time.
It's probably high risk. It's a bit like Bobby Dale, maybe the way he runs. I think he's great to watch.
Yeah.
But it's a proper high risk speed.
Yeah.
There's nothing safe about it, and that's the same with that there.
But I think with both of you, you have confidence that your dog's going to do what you need them to do when you need them to do it. And I think you're always in contact, so you're always, your dog's listening, which is it's really nice.
It's nice to watch because it's more workmanlike. Like, see the Scottish National, I came on to run after you, and you're running with
No pressure.
but like, if you can handle that pace, like, it's good to watch.
Yeah.
It's like a proper job. It's not like airy-fairy.
Your dog fairly took them round there at that Scottish. That was
It doesn't feel.
2 years ago, yeah.
I've heard like folk like Papa used to hate me running the dogs like that, and he's I need to slow them down, but it doesn't feel fast to me. That's what I used to say to him.
No?
See, I think if it was going any slower, it would be boring for me. I needed something to give me a wee bit of buzz
Aye, keep them going,
when I'm running
marching
my dogs.
on.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm.
It's more interesting for the dogs as well. I think there's definitely two types of handlers. There's the ones that are like, get them calm, treat them carefully, walk them round. And then there's like more positive handlers that are like, right, we're going to, spank these round and hit all our gates and do what needs to be done.
Like, it's not out of control right enough. Like, you can see folk would maybe go for that and then it gets wild at
Aye,
hand. Like,
but no, you're always there, and I think the dog's always up with them. You're not stopping the dog and letting the sheep drift, and then moving the dog and then letting them drift. Your dog's with them.
because I feel like there would be no flow to a run if you're doing that either. Like,
Aye.
I think it has to be kind of flow in the run as well.
She seems to stay nicely in contact with them, though. The sheep seem to really like her. She's got a nice method and nice presence behind them. I don't think it was maybe a total surprise when you took up sheepdog trialling, because there's a bit of sheepdog trialling in your family, isn't there?
A wee bit, but it took a wee bit to get into it, I think.
Did it?
Yeah.
Like,
Stand here.
so obviously was there some main influences when you were growing up?
Stand.
Like, did you have mentors, someone who kind of guided you into the sport?
I started going to Peter Helton and Joe Welsh's novice classes, and
What age would you be then?
13 or 14.
Yeah. And did you have so you had a young dog at that stage?
No, I had a dog that I played football with, and I tried to turn him to sheep, but I could think I could run faster myself, and then it kind of got me started, and Peter kind of walked away, and then eventually said, I think I'll have to try and find another dog, Fraser. And I was like, aye.
It's never nice to hear at that stage either when you've got a dog that you're enjoying.
Well, my plan was to really to go to that was try and learn how to train one myself, and then it was my uncle Bob, or my great uncle Bob, and he had two bitches away getting trained, and it must have been off his breeding, I think, and he got one back, he got two of them back, and it sent Fizz over to my papa. So, and I started taking her out, and Dad went and bought Fizz for me, and I started taking Fizz to the.
Oh, the legendary Fizz.
And
So, how old was Fizz when you got her?
couldn't tell me now, about 2 maybe.
Oh, okay.
So she was. I think it was Ian Brownley's daughter maybe trained her.
Is that right?
Yeah, definitely came back from Ian Brownley.
Oh, okay.
So.
And was she sort of trial ready when she arrived?
No, I wouldn't think so. Well, I kind of really. It's hard because it was me. Like I was just starting off, so. But she definitely had like a really good outrun. And I can't remember if she would driving a bit and that, but she had a lot to learn. Like so, the work helped her. But
So did you so you got her, and then did you have trials in mind at that stage, or were you just using her as a work dog?
I was just thinking of work. It's like
Yeah.
Dad would take me to the Wintons all the time, so I was, and I took Fizz because I was having to do a lot of walking. I don't know the walking like at the Wintons to Garland, and Fizz was like a great outrunner, so it's saved me.
Walking.
Saved me lots of the-
And what was your first trial then? Can you remember it?
Well, I think it was just that the novice classes. We had novice trials at them, so that was kind of a good place for me to start. And kind of.
So was that part of an open trial, or like what? How would the novice?
No, I think it was just for beginners, folks starting out, and then novice handlers. So I think there would be about 10 at one point, and Peter worked with me in the V field, and then Joe worked on that. It was a kind of bigger field, and then I got shifted up into the bigger field, and then started working with Joe. And I started going to trials with the opens with Joe, with Papa, Joe, and Hugh Young for Garpin. And I think my first trial was a disaster. Open trial. And
It's good. I think it's nice to hear that someone who's won the Supreme Championship went to first trial and it was a disaster.
I went and I didn't even wasn't even work. I couldn't even whistle. So I was trying to shout. It's a big, massive flat field. It felt massive to me. I can't really remember now. I was competitive, so I was really angry. She went up to the top. She had a great outrun, and I was shouting to lie down. She brought them down as fast as she went out. So, and I was like, nah.
So you're a competitive person then? You think you always have been?
Aye.
So I guess after that initial trial, you'd probably want to be better.
Yeah. So I think as Peter said, start whistling, and I'm going to go into whistles and that. I think I've stopped whistling since.
So you've already mentioned. So Fizz was your first dog, and she was an outstanding dog for you.
Yeah.
Who was next in line then from Fizz?
Mia, and she'll probably look back. She'll probably be the best one I've had. She was at a Fizz and Jokes Tanhill Nap.
Oh yeah.
So Nap was a real good dog. Wrote 100s for him, and she could work. Like she was broken early as well, young. And I never bought the nurseries with her. I think I put her at the nurseries actually, just so I was doing opens with her.
With your dogs, who's been your favourite, or maybe not your favourite? Who's been your most reliable dog?
Fizz was good to me, so she was. Mia, I think, was the most complete dog. So,
Yeah.
Because she could work cattle as well.
Yeah, I was just speaking to your dad about that, about how good she was on cattle.
Oh, she preferred cattle to sheep, I think.
Yeah.
Proper cattle dog, and then I could just take her to a trial.
Have you had any low points in trial? Has there been ever times where you're just like, this isn't happening?
lowest point in about, or I don't know if it was a low point. It was Belle with that eye was quite annoying.
Yeah, I remember.
And my low points as well was probably both times with Fizz. Was at the Worlds at Tain. I won the qualifying field, and I was into the semis in the exact same field, and she took the whole field in. I was whistling her in, and she wouldn't listen. And that was a real. And then the other one was at the international. I made the team there. I think I was about second or third. I was third at the national maybe. She had a real good run at the national. She'd been running good all season. Went up and she had a great outrun. What a start, and then I was flanking her and she's falling back in. I was like, I'm going to take just a real hashier run. That was quite.
What do you think that was down to? Do you think it's just?
I don't know. I never run her again after that. I retired.
Decided that was enough.
Yeah.
I think sometimes as well, I think they sense the occasion a wee bit. It's like sometimes you see them do stuff on them big courses that they wouldn't do normally, and people always say, "Oh, practicing for the big job and one thing." But sometimes I just think it's the occasion, and they know that something more, and they just
I think Fizz was the only one that could have done that, and then the rest of them that have run never really left me down like that. Like Mia was good. I feel like I should have won the international with Mia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She deserved it.
Probably. She was good.
You seem to prefer bitches. Or you've
on,
had a lot of success with bitches.
Yeah, I got on better with them.
Yeah.
But I've done alright with Spot. Spot kinda was in Mia's shadow a bit. So he always got the first draw sheep.
Yeah.
As I used to have done good at the nationals.
Yeah.
Pretty unlucky. Like the year I won it with Mia, he just timed up in his single. I was in the team. And then the year before that, it was my fault. I missed the cross drive gates, bad judgment. And then just missed out in the team that year because he missed set of drive gates.
Yeah. And he's proven to be a consistent breeder because he's obviously, even though you're saying he hasn't had heaps of bitches, he's bred a Supreme Champion. It's not many dogs get to do that. Right, just to wind up, it's just quick, 12 questions. So a bit silly. Yeah, it's all silly. So it's just this or that. So I'll give you two options and you pick one or the other. Okay? So, roast lamb or roast beef?
Roast beef.
Rough coat or smooth coat?
Smooth coat.
Black and white or a tricolour?
Black and white.
Sweet or savoury?
Sweet.
Nursery or open?
None. A national.
Starter or a pudding?
I don't know. Go with pudding.
Mules or blackies?
Meals.
Yeah, sensible.
Easy, that one.
Finger whistle or artificial whistle?
Artificial.
Custard or ice cream?
Custard.
Pen or shoot?
Pen.
Go on the post with Mia or Fizz?
Mia.
Mia. So
I'd like to thank Fraser and his dad and family for having us down at their farm. And yeah, what a treat it was. Just incredible to see.
Really lovely farm, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can see it's really well maintained. The sheep looked remarkable. The dogs looked remarkable. It was just a really nice all-round day.
What a field they've got there as well.
Yeah.
Can you imagine running dogs in that field? Absolutely fantastic.
She's a quality bitch as well. I was really impressed with her. Obviously, I'm biased because we've got Sully at home, but just really great. And I'm sure there's a lot more to come from Fraser. He's only young yet.
Yeah.
And, all those years in front of him. So I think we'll be seeing a lot more of him in the future. So I hope you enjoyed and like and subscribe.